object-oriented programming. Object-oriented programming is a programming language model that is organized around objects rather than actions and data. An object-oriented program that can be characterized as data controlling access to the code. Basic concepts of object-oriented programming are object, class, inheritance, polymorphism, abstraction, and encapsulation. Object means it is a real world entity, such as it might be a pen, person, chair, table. Any entity that has a state and behavior is known as an object. An object has three characteristics. First one is state. It represents data, that is value of an object. Second one is behavior. It represents behavior, that is functionality of an object, such as deposit, withdrawal. Identity. Object identity is typically implemented via a unique ID. The value of ID is not visible to the external user, but it is used internally by the JVM, that is Java Virtual Machine, to identify each object uniquely. Class. Second one concept of OOP is a class. So class is a collection of objects. It is a logical entity, a class that can also be defined as a blueprint from which you can create an individual object. A class that consists of data members and methods within it. And third one concept is inheritance. Inheritance that can be defined as the procedure or mechanism of acquiring all the properties and behavior of a one class to another class. That is, acquiring the properties and behavior of a child class from their parent class. When one object that acquires all the properties and behaviors of another object, it is also known as the inheritance. So this is the polymorphism. The fourth one concept of OOPs are polymorphism. When one task is performed by different ways, that is known as polymorphism. For example, to convince the customer differently to draw something, for example, shape, triangle, rectangle, circles are the shape of any particular object. Polymorphism is defined into two ways. First one is the method overloading and second one is method overriding. Method overriding, the another name of method overloading is compile time polymorphism, and the another name of method overriding is runtime polymorphism. Method overloading. The method overloading is a feature that allows a class to have two or more methods having the same name. Two or more methods that having the same name, but the arguments that are passed on to the methods are different. This is the compile time polymorphism. In compile time polymorphism, it is referred to a process which is called an overloaded method that is resolved at compile time rather than a running time. Method overriding. In runtime polymorphism, if subclass, that is child class, that has the same method as declared in the parent class, it is also known as a method overriding. If subclass that provides the specific implementation of the method that has been provided by one of its parent class, it is known as the method overriding. And the next one is abstraction. An abstraction is a process of hiding the implementation details and showing only the functionality to the user. For example, if you're taking a phone call, we don't know the internal processing in Java, but we use abstract class and interface to achieve that particular abstraction. And next one is the encapsulation. Encapsulation in Java is the process of wrapping up of code and data together into a single unit. For example, capsule. It is a mix of several medicines. A class, a Java class, is the example of encapsulation. It consists of data with its n number of methods over on it. Difference between the procedure and object-oriented programming. In procedure oriented programming, this POP is a program divided into small parts called functions. In object oriented programming, is divided into parts that is called as object. In procedure oriented programming, important is not given to data but functions as well as sequence of actions that to be done. Likewise, in object oriented programming, it is important to given to the data rather than procedures and functions because it works as real world. POP follows top down approach. Object oriented follows bottom up approach. POP does not have any access specifier, but OOP has access specifiers named public, private and protected.